Hello and welcome to another update video on Bitcoin. So I just want to start here on the larger time frame, then we'll talk about the smaller time frame. Just one thing, because today in our member live session that question came up about the death cross. And well, the death cross is here now, right? We had a death cross now. We talked about it on the MCO Global channel a few days ago. This is basically highlighted here on the chart. We've got the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. Orange is the 200-day moving average, white is the 50-day moving average, and when the 50-day crosses below the 200, it is a death cross. Now, I made a full video on the MCO Global channel about it and talked about the cross, and that actually, at least in this particular cycle, it was rather a buy signal than a sell signal, right? So, I mean, that doesn't mean that we have to get another high from here. But as you can see, we had a break below. Well, we had not only a break below those moving averages, but we had before also those crosses. And when the cross came, the bearish cross, that often marked the low. It indeed did. In this cycle, it was the August low 24 and the April low in this year. And so we have a cross again. So could this be the low? I mean, maybe. Maybe. But there's currently, and this is just an indicator, right? And it's a pretty useless indicator to predict the top because it's very much lagging. But it's obviously one of the indicators that also in the past has crossed, which kind of makes sense when the bear market is unfolding already. Like, for example, here in January 22. Whereas actually the bear market started in November 21, right? So it's lagging. It's super laggy. And it's, it's also in 2021, it crossed death cross, right? And that marked also interesting. It's so interesting that the death cross at the time, also in June 21, marked the actual low before we pumped higher. So, I mean, do I think we drop like a stone here? No. But I also don't think we necessarily have hit the low yet. We might go a little lower over the coming days. But it's obviously a weekly close below relevant moving averages. We talked about that as well. And the death cross, I mean, again, in this cycle, it was rather a buy signal. And it historically has very often been a buy signal. It's not a very good signal, though, because sometimes it also predicts, you could say predict. It crosses, obviously, at some point, and then it actually goes into the bear market, right? So I think it's a pretty lousy indicator to actually indicate that we're in a bear market or not. I think it is an indicator to indicate it's an indicator to indicate oversold conditions, because that is what we had here in 2021. It is what we had, like in all of these instances, the market was oversold when there was a death cross. But typically when there is a death cross, even here in January 22, when it actually crossed and we actually moved into the bear market, even then, guys, we had a bounce and tested that 200-day moving average again, which then obviously kind of acted as resistance, yeah? And that bounce was from the low when that death cross happened. So funny enough, it usually really marks a low of sorts, that death cross. I mean, that led to a 45% increase. 45% increase, guys. So if I look at this chart, objectively, we now have a death cross. The market has oversold. We had the same situation in March 25, April, March. Here in August 24, death cross was also here in September 23. That was a low, that was a low, that was a low. Before that, yep, we actually moved into the bear market when the death cross happened, but it started already months before. But even when this death cross happened in January 22, it marked the low and the market pumped nearly 40% afterwards. And then we had the death cross in June 21. It moved to new all-time highs. What can I say? Whenever the death cross hits, it kind of is a low. Well, guess what? The death cross marked the COVID low as well. It's ridiculous, right? Even here, there was another death cross in October 2019, and it pumped 40%. Wow. I mean, I haven't checked this before, but this is the case as well. There was a death cross in April 2018, and when it hit, yeah, we moved into a bear market, fine, but it actually marked another low, and we pumped again 55%. So I bought a little bit a few days ago, and I'll probably buy a little more, and that's why. And then we also tested again that moving average there. It just acts as resistance then. But I actually wanted to talk a little bit here about this death cross, because that question came up today in our live stream. And I'll probably double down on that in the next few days. So it's just something to think about. Price structure is key and king. So we have no confirmed low yet, but this is something from a high level point of view that is worth keeping in mind. So let's take a look at the shorter time frame as well then. In the very short term, there is no sign of a low, as I said. We could grind a little lower, potentially to 91.4K in this microstructure that you know already. I slightly added some micro bits here to the structure, but overall, there's no sign that we've bottomed yet. We could at any point move into this resistance area between 95,845 and 99,020. If we do that, this is likely going to be the fourth wave, circle wave 4, even though circle wave 3 could move down to 91.5K first. And only if we break above 99K, the larger degree fourth wave is likely unfolding, but I don't see that at this point. Yeah. So short-term pressure remains downward against resistance. I mean, in the very short term, to keep this microstructure in circle wave 3 alive, market should ideally stay below 96.6K. Again, if we break above it, then we're likely in this area here, resistance area, which will then be relevant between 95,845 and 99,023. So pressure remains downward. Here on the micro level, many things can easily change. We could get a slightly larger wave 4. That would not be bullish, however. It might just indicate that a slightly larger bounce is unfolding. In the last video update, I highlighted to you that the first key resistance is this swing high, which formed at around 95,550, and we're still below that while I record this video. So yeah, not too much more to add here, but I hope that conversation about the death cross was interesting. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in additional updates, I recommend that you also follow us on X for additional updates, charts, news, and much more. This is obviously a place where I share additional updates, charts, and so on, that some of them are not even covered on YouTube. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for watching the videos on this YouTube channel. If you've been thinking about joining MCO as a member, now might be a great time. You can use the link in the video description and apply the discount code right below it. You will get 50% off your first month of our gold membership, and you can explore everything we offer. It's the easiest way to test the membership, see if it's a good fit for you, and get a feel for the community, join the conversation, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in our member area.